Hello, everyone, and welcome to an emergency edition of OTM Live. I'm TJ Lasig. I'm your host here at OTM. And as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Justin Herzig. And my man over here is shocked at what he's seeing with the gift pack drop. Justin, cheers on this Saturday.
Happy Saturday. And cheers to everyone else out there. If you have a drink in hand or if it's maybe later drinks tonight, we'll see. But I'm down in Florida. It is gorgeous weather here. I know it is not in most of the rest of the country. So I'll at least have a sip for you all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So let's talk about no time for the plugs today. We got to get right into it. Let's talk about what has happened over the past 24 hours here with regards to the gift. Basically, yesterday, there was a blog post that came out from the Top Shot team that first referenced this pack called The Gift that should be coming soon. There are 5 moments that are a part of this pack that you could potentially get. And essentially they came out today and said that they'll be sending these over the course of today and tomorrow to anyone that has made a recent marketplace purchase. I forget since what date, Justin? Since the 10th, I think?
As long as you made a marketplace purchase before the 10th, potentially on the 10th, which was a day or two before they made this announcement. And it is specific. It is not just any account activity. It is a marketplace purchase. I think there's 2 reasons why they did this. One is because there's obviously been issues in the past around bots that made pack purchases, and we don't want to be just gifting those bots free moments. I think the second one is, and we've seen some people saying, hey, I bought, 5 different packs. I've been active. I'm a huge proponent of this, but I'm not getting, my gift moment. And I definitely have a level of, empathy for that. But I also think for the majority of people, if they are only buying packs and then just trying to do quick flips of those, not actually trying to, participate with the marketplace, I think that's not actually the healthiest for the ecosystem. We do know that there's obviously, significant expected value for these packs. So a lot of people have been just saying, hey, I'm just going to buy the packs and then I'm going to flip them and then I'm going to make a pretty penny. But at the end of the day here, I think for the ones who are actually seeing this as a long-term, a marketplace is a great place to, act as an actual collector, find value, and not just get that quick flip. So I get why they're doing it, and go from there.
Yeah. So some of the moments have started to be gifted. I know that you have received your gift personally. I have not received mine yet. I'm looking at the marketplace right now. So we have Jimmy Butler, we have Rui Hachimura, CJ McCollum, Donovan Mitchell, D'Angelo Russell. Those are the 5 moments that are a part of this pack that you could potentially get. And then we do also know that it looks like there will be a challenge with collecting these 5, and the reward for that challenge will be a Derrick Rose and a Knicks version of the Derrick Rose, correct?
Yep, that sounds right. And we've been on, we were on Derrick Rose a little before that trade, once the rumors kind of came out, just from an excitement wise with the Knicks and kind of returning back to Thib and stuff. So, not a bad moment, but we will definitely get a little more into the analysis of these. But should we start with some excitement? Should we do a little pack rip, a little opening here?
Yeah, let's open that up. I mean, you've got the gift, right? We're going to get into your thoughts on these prices that we're seeing. So I think that you are beneficial to open your gift sooner than later. Let's do it. Let's see which one you get.
Let's see.
Remember the audio. Did you do that appropriately?
I don't know. I might have. Let's check again.
Yeah, just make sure you share the Chrome window, and then in the bottom left, click.
I think I just got to hit
check the share audio. Guys, we have really become technical experts over the last couple of weeks. Justin's sitting down at someone asked if it's his vacation home. Nope. The man just lives in Florida every day. Is a vacation.
I live where you vacation. All right, here we go. Let's hope that sound works. I think we're going to get
it. There it is. Is there a particular one you're rooting for here, or you don't even care?
I do not.
It looks like Jimmy Butler is going for the most expensive. Jimmy Butler's going for 130. So
there we go. That's probably then my preference. But
I refreshed and now he's going for 95. So never mind.
I do wish they'd kind of, I'm hoping going forward they're going to customize the music a little for different kind of pack drops. Is everyone able to hear
like
it?
that.
Okay. One card, one moment. 7, 4, 8, 4. Oh, and he
There's
gets
your
the
Jimmy.
Butler. There it
That's
is.
the Jimmy Butler.
All right.
95 on the marketplace right now. So what are you going to do with that, Jimmy? You're going to hold on to it, or are you looking to sell it here, sir?
Let's go. Sorry to speed through that, but I am a man on a mission right now. So I am. Let's go. Go to my moments. We'll pull up Jimmy Butler here. We're going to go place for sale. Enter a price. I'll do a pricing helper. What do we have? What's the cheapest right now? 95. 95. I don't want to, honestly, I usually don't say this, but here's the thing. These are going to drop so quickly. And I just want to get rid of this as quickly as possible. So let's just put it out there. I know that I usually say, hey, you should not try to just one under the next person because it ends up just becoming a race to the bottom. But I think that the truth is that once more of these come out, once people realize what this actual value is, these are going to just plummet in price. And we can actually jump into some of that analysis for where that comes from if we want. Otherwise, anything else you want to talk about before that?
Yeah, I think we definitely want to jump into that. So as everyone can see, Justin opened his pack and was planning to sell it as quickly as possible. And the reason for that is that he's been doing some analysis into how he thinks that each of these gifts should be valued. He's looking at comps for those same players and their current common Series 2 prices, and factoring in, the Derrick Rose reward a little bit, but also the fact that, right, there's not that many of these gifts out right now. So people are going to continue to receive theirs, which is going to increase that supply and drive down the demand as a result.
Yeah. All right. So we've got that in the marketplace. I mean, we'll see whether or not someone undercuts it or whether someone buys it. You guys can keep us informed on chat if I need to keep dropping that down. But let's focus on the actual numbers here and, where this kind of analysis comes from. So let me pull up a new screen. Okay. How are we looking? Probably pretty small numbers, but can we see?
Maybe zoom in a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. So what we're seeing here is I pulled the Series 2 7500 LE moments. Why? Because I think that's probably the closest from a comp to these /8888 gift moments. What I wanted to see is, okay, so here we have what the lowest in the marketplace price is for those moments. I then, if we scroll over, I took a look, okay, these same players also have, out of 15,000 CC plus moments. And I looked to see, okay, what are those moments going for? I'm trying to back end my way into a value for these 5 gift moments eventually. So we take those prices, we then find, okay, what's the actual markup from a 15,000 to a 7,500? Here's the percents here. You've got, looks like LeBron and Zion are a bit of an outlier. Overall, your weight average ends up being around 28%. So what we're saying is that this 7, so those bottom 2 are Tyler Hero and Damian Lillard. Those are going for $7 for their 15,000 CCs. Their 7,500 are going for $30. So the price of the 15,001 is about 23% of that 7,500 and so forth, with that 20 to 30 being the range. Okay, now when we take a look at the gift moments that are out there, you have 3 that already have Series 2 out of 15,000, D'Lo, Donovan Mitchell, and Jimmy Butler, and those are going for $3, $4, and $4. So if we use that same ratio of saying, hey, these are going to be 28% of if they had a 7,500, their 7,500 would theoretically be going for around $14, maybe $11, something around that range. For a Rui and a CJ McCollum who did not have it, I just made an estimate of a 4 based off we have within OTM and actual player rankings that we use to say, okay, between like moments, how do we evaluate these players? And these kind of still fall in that same bucket area, maybe give or take $1. So we now have, okay, we understand what they're going for at a 15,000. If they were a 7,500, what they would be, which I think is pretty comparable to this 8888 when you consider some of these actually, I don't think all 8888 for all 5 are going to be released just from a number standpoint of how many people are active in the marketplace. I think maybe there's a little actual benefit because this is has that actual extra gift. So I'm fine with giving some extra bumps to these numbers, and we'll do that as we go through the process. But my goal here is to calculate irrespective of the challenge. So post-challenge, what are the actual value of these moments? And I think this is not actually outside of the ballpark. I'd say maybe you're going to get a little higher actually because we'll see this 888 may drop. Or maybe they find other ways to actually gift those. We don't know, but also with the gift tag, but I think it's in the right ballpark. So now let's estimate that Derrick Rose. What is the value of that one going to be? So I'm predicting, and this is a very early unscientific guess, but I think maybe let's say 5,000 complete the challenge. That's about right. I think the value of that Derrick Rose then jumps to around $30. If it was 888, it would also be 14, but you bring into account that, okay, it's a master challenge, and not a master challenge, it's a challenge reward. It's a bit more rare than this. So I think it's safe to say maybe $30. Now, if you also complete the challenge, you have a chance at getting one of his, maybe a single double-digit number, a great mint. So we can even give a bump on that. And I said, okay, let's say that the actual value of completing the reward, the challenge, is around $50. So we take that 30 low. I'm giving a significantly higher multiple just because I want to be cautious here. So that's $50. So once we take that 50 now, we now need to say, okay, what is the value of these during the challenge? Well, we know that if we have 5 of them, we're going to get ourselves an extra about $50 expected value. So what we should do is, and 50 is a little, I think what I end up going with. So I actually ended up saying 40 because I think 50 is a little high. So we then say, okay, so $40 of expected value is worth it if I can hold all 5 of these. So the individual estimated value of each of these is 40 divided by 5. So an additional $8 of value by holding these, because $8 times 5, 40, that's the value of Derrick Rose. This is the kind of math we're using to kind of figure out whether these challenges are worth it. That now gives me that the actual, if we're assuming that the Derrick Rose, moment is eventually going to be worth 30, or here I even said, $40 because of the low mints, and maybe I'm a little low. Our challenge value for these moments should only be around $20. And I'm comfortable saying that, hey, maybe I'm even off by 50%. And because there's, it's a challenge, there's excitement, it's going to, this is eventually going to have that reward extra badge. People want to join in. Even if you double these numbers, we are still nowhere near what the market is setting it at. And that's why I'm like, you know what? I'm just selling, sell. And it's weird that I'm saying sell after yesterday, TJ. I know you've been giving me a little crap for that. But when you just see what's going on in the marketplace now, it's just not right. And I will say, while I think these are the value, I think the prices and the equilibrium will end up setting at a bit higher than that just because of a little bit of excitement around it. But even if they settle at that $40 each, which I think is high, but I get it. I'm still taking my 90 some if I can in the marketplace. And hopefully there's people in chat right now saying that my 94 already sold.
Yes, I tried to tell you this quickly into your analysis. You were too far into the zone. You could not override the robot feature as you were going through the analysis. That is maybe something that we can add to your robot functionality in the future. But no, thank you for breaking that down for everyone. I see some people in the chat, and I'm in the same boat as you guys, saying, man, I really wish I could get my gift right now so that I could sell it sooner than later. But I keep refreshing here. I'm not quite seeing it. You mentioned Lamelo. I did sell a Lamelo, it looks like, for $9.99. Mint number 2040, 10 minutes ago. So that was nice. And I think that's another topic that has been on our minds today and has been probably, I do not have the data to back this up, but I feel like one of the most transacted moments over the last couple of days has been the Series 2 Lamelo Ball rookie moment, first moment, going to get first game as well, going to get all of those tags in the future. You put out a tweet earlier today showing that it was the third highest market cap in terms of, maybe it wasn't third, but either way, basically right up there with LeBron in terms, it was third. Okay. Right up there with LeBron in terms of the market cap. I know you and I were debating a little bit earlier today about whether or not we think that LaMelo has become overvalued. I have a good amount of LaMelo in my portfolio, so I'm definitely holding on to some, but then also trying to get some money back if I can. But I still think that there's room for LaMelo to run in the short term, but I do agree with your long-term view that as the Master Cool Cats Challenge LaMelo comes out, as potentially new packs drop or new different LaMelo moments are minted, that maybe that will impact this. So what and what do you say to the people that, you told 100 people on Twitter yesterday to buy, and then you wake up today and sell LaMelo? Are you steering the people in the wrong direction here, Justin? I think they're going to start wondering what's going on.
There were some holds in there as well. And the truth is, if LaMelo's at 700, I think that is a buy. If he's at 750, 800, I think that's probably a hold. But when he jumped up to that $1,000, that put him at the third most expensive common moment in Top Shot, ahead of two of the LeBrons, an 80% bump over Zion. Why is that? Well, it's because there's excitement around the way he's been playing lately. Yes, he's the Rookie of the Year favorite. I think at around I think he's around minus 400 right now. But Ja won Rookie of the Year. He actually won it. There's no doubt about it. And he was a number 2 overall draft pick versus number 3. And his moment's going for half. And the reason why, I believe, and that was a Series 1, which we know are, likely going to be more valuable than other series going forward. But I think a lot of that comes down to LaMelo has one moment out there right now. And it's as much of a moment as you can call it, given it's basically a handoff and you just give the ball to someone who else had to play, but we'll get into that later. But no, I really believe so when I released mine at 984, I probably did lose a couple dollars, and I think there's a decent chance it may go up to 1100, it may go up 1050. I think like it may go up a little higher, and that's not without the realm of possibility. But I feel long term, when there are more LaMelos out there, and we know that there's going to be this Master Challenge, there's highly likely to be others. In office hours yesterday, they made a point to say that there will not be two moments that are both CC, two common moments that are both CC at the same time, but they didn't say would they continue adding a new moment if you've got an LE that's still out there as well, which could hint towards you see a LaMelo coming out. Long story short, I think for current players, especially young ones, if we're buying them because there's only one or minimal out there, that's a poor long-term strategy. Now, Vince Carter, there's only one out there, but there's not going to be any others out there except for maybe some run it back. So I think that's where it's a very different ballgame with that old man analysis that I used on the stream the other day.
Yeah, it's important and interesting to think about what is to come. That's one of the things that we certainly can't control, right? For all we know, Top Shot could come out next week with a new Series 2 base pack, and in that there's a new LaMelo Ball moment that has just been minted. We'll obviously keep everyone posted as soon as we find out any rumors about that, but in the meantime, I'm at least holding on to some of my LaMelo Balls. And a lot of the rookies in general have been skyrocketing over the last couple of days. And I do find that interesting because so we're aware, and hopefully everyone that's listening to this stream is aware of the rookie badges that are going to be coming, of the various tags, whether it's the first game, the first moment. And there had been a lot of speculation about, okay, is that already baked into pricing? And I feel like general consensus was, yeah, you know what? We think it is. But then Top Shot a couple days ago reposted a blog that had already been posted days prior, and the price has skyrocketed. So to me, that implies that not as many people are in the know as we think, and it wasn't as baked in as it is before. And so I still think that when he gets those tags, that there's going to be another bump because there's still people that don't know about this. Maybe I'm wrong, but I do think that to say it's fully baked in would be incorrect. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yep. No, I mean, I agree with that. And I think we always talk about this from a daily fantasy sports standpoint of one, we are in a bubble. And the people who are choosing their Saturday to listen to two degens talk about a gift set that maybe is worth between $30 and $100 something, like we are the ones who are really into this. Majority of people, I don't know, like, they may not even know who all the rookies are. And if they then decide that I want to do a rookie strategy, or, I want to get this rookie for my team or something like that, like, yeah, it's going to help when there's badges. And even more so, it's going to help when I can go in the marketplace and I can just say, I want to search for only rookies. I want to search for only first moments. I want to search for only NBA debut. When you have that search feature, that's going to just increase the liquidity of those moments as more people are just saying, hey, okay, this fits what I'm looking for or my strategy. For the specific to the Lamelo, gosh, I just think the Lamelo is just such an interesting use case because it really is going to that one moment will get the trifecta of NBA debut, first moment, and rookie. That's huge. We then are going to have a Lamelo later on that is going to get a master challenge, a challenge reward, and the rookie. That's also pretty strong. And there's going to be I think there will be significantly fewer of them compared to the 4,000 of this current one. I'm still in that kind of 2,000 to 2,500 for that Lamelo. And we got to think and who knows what that play is going to be. They've got a lot more season because, hey, when you're doing an NBA debut, you only have one game of plays of that rookie to pick from. And that's probably, to be honest, why it just wasn't that great of a moment. When we've got the rest of the season, we're going to see a lot better plays. And maybe that has a bit more of a, interesting factor.
Good question here from Sky around. Would you use the current Lamelo market cap to estimate the master price? So really, yeah, how are you thinking about the fact that there's only one Lamelo now? Do we expect his market cap to overall increase as he gets more moments? Or is your point more of you think that he's at his market cap, so when another moment is added in, then the combination of those will be closer to what the current market cap is? And yeah, how many Lamelos? Obviously, it's really far to predict, but how many Lamelos do we think end up being minted versus the 4,000 LE that we have for this rookie one?
Yeah, so let's go with this. Rather than try to predict what's going to happen to his market cap between now and the Lamelo Master Challenge coming out, let's just go with, okay, when that Master is the challenge reward is out, how should we be thinking about those two's market cap? Well, when we think about the value of the reward, so as we said, the trifecta versus the double reward, one's the Master Challenge. I think that the market cap for the first moment should probably be about the same, if not a little higher. There's just always value for when people are actually working and acquiring 29 other moments to get this one, that it's going to be a bit inflated, and whether that inflated is actually long-term, like it's going to decrease, I don't know, but there's just people feel that it has more worth. But so if I believe that the market caps are going to be pretty similar, which I think is kind of fair, we then say, okay, well, if there's going to be half of the challenge rewards at 2,000 versus the 4,000, well, then that lowest price should actually be about 2x of what we're seeing with Lamelo. And we had been saying that we thought, maybe that Lamelo reward is going to be around 2,000. We'll be able to, back into it as well to see, okay, if you were to sell those 29 other moments before the challenge ends, what could you get versus what you could get afterwards, and see, is that going to be worth your your $2,000 or whatever that price is? Those are the questions we'll be asking, and analysis we'll be kind of continuing to look into.
Yeah, I did like what you said with regards to the ability to search in the marketplace in the future on those tags. So in the future, whether it's the rookie tag, the first moment tag, the first game tag, you'll be able to, from what we understand, sort and filter by those. And I think especially as more and more people become new users of NBA Top Shot, that's going to be a really easy way to narrow down your search, right? It can be overwhelming to go to the marketplace for the first time. So anything that was going to help people easier filter on where do I want to begin, what are the types of players that I want to look at, I think that is definitely a big value add that we will see with those tags. We've got 111 people watching us right now. Thank you guys for spending your Saturday afternoon to quickly join us here. if you are not a subscriber already, we would much appreciate if you're able to hit that subscribe button. You'll get the notifications every time we're randomly going live like this, or when we have our planned shows, which we've been doing, I would say probably once or twice a week, if not more frequently, trying to bring you guys a bunch of information here. Make sure you're following us on Twitter at OwnTheMomentNFT. Go ahead, leave a comment, hit that thumbs up button, leave a review on the podcast, all of that good stuff. All right, Justin, we talked about the gift.
You see what Sam said here? Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I have not refreshed in a bit.
But I mean,
it's annoying to not have my gift yet. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, and I know there's been some chat. I think Dennis was saying in there. I believe it's some form of random. I mean, it's as random as it at least appears random to us from a stance. There's nothing that from a who's getting their packs and so forth. We do know that, I don't know, I was even interested, like, would they release the better mints first? Because we do see when you complete a challenge, the time that it gets delivered to you is they start at number 1 and so forth. So when a couple people and I had completed a challenge, we saw that the number 53 came before the 150 or whatever. But given that my Jimmy Butler was 78, 7,900, something pretty high, I don't think that's the case. So I'm going to just assume it's fairly random there. And yeah, we'll see what this actually settles out at. I would guess that there's going to be a lot of, maybe around that kind of $30 to $40 settling point. And if it does, based off that analysis, it's just probably not a challenge I want to complete. But for others, hey, if this is definitely, and they said initially, their goal with the Cool Cats was to make this a challenge that just about everyone could complete if they wanted to. That didn't work out, considering the cost to complete the first Cool Cat challenge ended up being around like $1,200 to $1,500. I think their goal is to really make this one a bit more affordable, and completing a challenge is fun, and it's your really only shot at maybe getting that extremely high upside jersey number great mint. And if you want to have a little gamble, then go for it.
Yep. And we actually have here our first run at the gift challenge numbers. This may be on a slight delay, but what we've seen is that there are 26 people who already have 5 of 5 gift moments, 16 people that have 4 of 5. So shout out to Neil. I think I saw Neil in the chat. Shout out to Neil for pulling those numbers together for us behind the scenes. But yeah, that's great for those 5 of 5. And they probably must have paid the top dollar to get it too, right?
$500.
Already have it.
Yeah. $400 because they got a free one. But when you were giving a shout out to Neil, I was concerned that you were shouting him out because he completed it, and I was going to be like, "Oh, Neil, oh, Neil."
No, he sent me that and said, "Looks like we have 26 suckers." So quite the opposite.
I mean, but that's why we also wanted to do this as quickly as possible. Like, TJ actually has a Chipotle burrito being delivered sometime soon. And I was like, TJ, we just got to go on. Like, people are going to make poor mistakes by just buying these at ridiculous prices because they saw the Cool Cats price and they're like, ooh, Cool Cats prices were what? I mean, 150 to 350 to 400 throughout like their peak. And you're like, oh, shoot. I mean, like, hey, we can get this at 100 and 888's not that much different than 5,000. So let me jump in. But like, no, this is very different.
Yeah. It is tough. And you hate to see it. It's like when we saw that person sell a cosmic book for $180. You just hate to see it. That is why we are here, trying to keep you guys as informed as possible in as much real time as possible. I'm going to make a special little sneaky action here to the people that are in the chat watching us today, because in order to get the fastest information from us going forward, we are actually going to start an Own the Moment Discord. We have already created it. And tomorrow night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, we are going to be having our Own the Moment Discord kickoff party, where myself, Justin, and producer Coop will all be hanging out in the Discord with all of you guys, answering any of your questions, getting to know everyone on a little bit more of a personal level. Justin, have some to add.
Yeah, and I do want to say, though, because I don't want to give away, I don't want to like give off expectations if we're not able to fully fulfill them. We are keeping this with a low count, at least early on, because we want to kind of make sure that this is actually valuable and that the people in are, predominantly people who are not just there to spam or complain or whatever. I just want to make sure that it's valuable. So We are at a point where we're creating a waiting list. I think today, tomorrow might be the last day that we actually allow from a registration standpoint. Even then, depending on how many, we're still going to have to cap it. So TJ, if you do want to include the link, go for it. Please, I do recommend, if you are interested, register. But I did just want to, there is a chance that not everyone will be able to be admitted right away. We will have a wait list. And but will definitely be preferential treatment for the people who are, watching these streams and all. And once we open up for that second, third wave, we'll make sure to try to get as many people in while still kind of maintaining the, what's the word? I don't know. I just want to make sure that it remains, the Discord remains valuable for everyone.
Absolutely. So because all of you were kind enough to jump on stream with us here at pretty much no notice, we feel that you're probably, pretty engaged with this kind of stuff. Somebody that's going to be a positive contribution to the Discord. And so for that reason, that is why I wanted to send it out to this group. Again, like Justin said, the reason we're keeping it private is that it's not going to be a place to spam for, hey, when are the packs going to drop? When are the packs going to drop? It's not going to be a place for, that the kind of nonsense that can sometimes go on in the NBA Top Shot larger Discord. It's really for a community of people that are really into this and want to talk about, how they're approaching it from a strategy standpoint, want to share, some of the cool moments you have. That's obviously totally fine too. And again, we want to build this community, have people that can talk with each other, become kind of, I just feel like we're all in this together and we're super early. Yep. So we want to go ahead and give that offer to all of you guys.
I agree. And TJ and I will occasionally, I don't want to say occasionally, it's happened quite often. We'll get questions one-off in either DMs or on Twitter and stuff. And we're happy to answer them. But I think it kind of sucks when literally have 3, 4, 5 people asking the same question. And so I think this will be a better opportunity for people to, hey, you can still ask questions. We're probably going to have some AMAs at different times, but it also then allows the larger community to also equally kind of benefit from that information. And then who knows what other kind of opportunities go from there, whether it's, trades, friendships, whatever it is. I'm excited though. It should be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And hey, maybe one day when all of this pandemic stuff is done with, we can have an OTM party or something and just have a bunch of people get together somewhere. That would be a fun time. Anyways, I feel like another topic that we should touch on is the successful pack drops that happened on Thursday night. I think, we had on Monday, we did our hype show. We felt like there was a lot of negative vibes, negative energy around NBA Top Shot coming out of the legendary pack drop from last weekend. We wanted to get the people back going. And I think that Thursday was a huge success in that we were able to have 3 seemingly successful pack drops. Justin, it looks like you are now a shadow of yourself.
I think because I leaned away, but it's going to pick it up again. But because I was looking for Arnie. Arnie's running around, and I think once it realized, hey, so I'm hoping.
Yeah. No worries.
I'll turn the camera off and I'll real quick. But yeah, let's try it.
Here's a question from Brewing Green. Will there be a dogs or pets channel? His or her niece, wants to know.
So it's kind of funny, but
yeah,
it's a good question. I know, TJ, what you want to give the answer from a standpoint. Go for it.
Yeah. So we actually sent an email out to folks that have already been on the wait list earlier today. And what we said is that when you join this Discord, you are going to see that it is bare bones to start. It's got a general channel. It's got a couple of announcement channels, nothing else besides that. And that is actually very intentional by us, because the way we're viewing this is not for us, right? This is for all of you. So our view on it is that any channel that folks think is going to be valuable and going to help build the community, we are fully supportive of that. So we're not here to dictate what you guys should and shouldn't be talking about, and we'll be fully supportive of any of those. So yes, if there's a motion for a pets channel, you guys will certainly have the power to make that happen, and Arnie will be a part of said pets channel. Arnie, how's it going?
Arnie is doing great, actually. The last 2 nights, Arnie has slept through the entire night after ridiculously difficult nights of crate training. The first about 4 So it's gone well. But no,
Yeah.
we'll definitely include some Arnie. We've gotten some requests to have more Arnie for the family members. So we'll include Arnie in the pets channel.
Maximum Arnie. Arnie will be a frequenter of the pets channel. Eric does bring this up, and we did mention this as we sent it. I was typing the date, and I'm like, 214. Like, are we going to be stealing guys away from their wives? But
and we considered it.
And sorry, Eric, we did consider it. But,
yeah, and hey, I mean, if you can't make it, no worries. Like, this is more of just there's only gonna be a couple balloons and stuff, and for the most part, it's just gonna be to kind of kick it off. And I'm sure there will be hiccups along the way, but it's more of we wanted to get this going sooner rather than later, and it just didn't make sense for us to kind of continue to delay it for some commercial fake holiday that doesn't really exist, or maybe we're giving you an excuse to get out of it. Who knows?
Yeah. So like Justin said, there's gonna be plenty more of opportunities here. We're gonna definitely be setting up some different like ask me anything type things for any of the OTM team members to come in and answer any of the questions that the people have. And our other goal is to share some information analysis that we do that maybe we don't broadcast all the way on Twitter. So want to provide some extra value for the people that we feel are the true hardcore OTM family members, and also just getting to know everyone on a more personal level, having more of a two-way conversation rather than us just talking at you and being able to see your stuff in the chat, having those conversations. I'm personally really looking forward to it.
Yeah, completely agree. And we've got a great team forming of kind of Discord volunteers that are going to help us.
Shout out to Alex. You've got to figure it out, my friend.
There you go. My wife and I did one of those virtual wine dates last night with two of our friends, and it was one of my friends. Actually, it was Bachman, who you guys. I guess we haven't had him on stream yet, but we've referenced him. We actually filmed a stream with him, and then it didn't work out for one reason or the other. But we're going to bring him on. He's our NBA analyst, and this was. His wife probably knew like 10% about Top Shot. And so this was a nice introduction to kind of take it a bit further.
Producer Coop behind the scenes saying that his wife is not yet aware that this is going to be happening tomorrow night.
I mean, it was Producer Coop's birthday, 2 days ago? Yesterday?
Yeah, true.
Happy belated birthday.
Happy
Whoever has a
belated
drink
birthday,
out there
Coop.
for Producer Coop.
Cheers to
man
Producer
behind
Coop.
the scenes. Happy birthday. Cheers.
Hopefully your wife's not watching the stream and did not find out that you have plans tomorrow night via this method. If so, I apologize, Mrs. Recupero.
Yep. Actually, TJ, let's bring up Mohammed's, because this is something we have not discussed actually at all. And I know there's a smaller market, a smaller amount of people that they're kind of would be interested in this, but maybe just from a discussion standpoint. I'm going to ask you first, and then I'll kind of go into my thoughts as well. So I'll read it out. Mohammed Tahir asks, thoughts on the Trey Hollow Challenge? How many do you guys anticipate will complete the challenge? And I don't know if we have that data, but that's something we can easily track, because we can see how many moments are scattered across. And I think we saw last, as of 2 or 3 days ago, that 15 people had completed it, and it looked like another maybe 20 were actively trying. So we'll see. But in general, what are your thoughts on that challenge, TJ? And then I'll give mine.
My thoughts are it's a very expensive challenge to complete. I think we ran the numbers, and it was $20,000 to complete the challenge, or in the range of 15 to 20. Actually, just got the numbers here. So we have 17 people that currently have 9 of 9, 7 people that have 8 of 9, and then 4 people that have 7 of 9. So yeah, you've got, you're looking probably at 30-ish people at the end of the day, which again, really small group there. It's just an expensive price point. I personally was fortunate enough to get a legendary pack last weekend. So I have the Marcus Smart serial number 22. I have placed that on the market, has not yet sold. But my personal goal with that is to try and he's a part of this first challenge. So my personal goal is to try and get my Marcus Smart sold prior to the challenge being over. I've seen decent amount of volume He's been selling from 1700 range. I've got him listed, I think, for 1950. So I'm trying to squeeze a little bit more out. But if I have to eventually, I'll probably bring that price down and just look to make that sale. But yeah, overall, I just think that this challenge is for a very niche section of the Top Shot player pool, just in terms of the bankroll needed to complete that. And I don't know. I guess if there's only 30 or so of these trades, that maybe that makes it extra valuable. But is it really going to go for 20, 25K? I don't know. I don't know that I see that happening. What do you think?
Well, and it wouldn't have to go over 20, 25K, because once again, what we need to do is take into account what is the price of those hollows going to be after the challenge versus before.
Sure.
I think it's interesting because we can have a level of, certain level of confidence that, well, actually, we know with a high level of confidence that there's going to be 2 more challenges after this. Top of my head, I believe it is Harden and Jokic. Are those correct?
That's correct. Yep.
So it's hard to say, like, okay, well, we can just use the other challenge prices to figure out like a baseline of what these will be worth, because we can't, because all those are being held, or at least expected that they're going to be worth. They're going to be part of one of those 2 challenges for an elite player. So when I think about this challenge, I try to consider, okay, what, same as anything else, what is this tray actually going to be worth? I believe that 30 is a low number. I think you're going to end up seeing around like 50 or so, maybe high 40s complete it. Yeah, I know TJ's numbers, that 28.
We still have over a week, right?
Yeah. And your 28 was only the people who had 7, 8, or 9. I think if people have anywhere between 4 and 6, like, they're also planning on completing it. And then who else knows? And the other thing is, the people who have 9 are rarely ever going to go sell them. But there's people who have only 0 or 1 who may end up completing it later on. So there's only additional amounts of people that may complete it. So I think we end up still seeing it around a 50. So if you consider it that it's, at that 50 number, okay, what is that price going to be? My primary concern is just, I don't want to really be in the business of buying expensive, legendary non-S1s. And in a long-term view, this could be wrong, and there's definitely still value there. And to be honest, like, I do believe that those will appreciate in price. And I believe that almost everything in the market is going to appreciate in price over the long term. But when I'm making decisions on where I want to invest my Top Shot capital, I need to decide which is going to which do I believe are going to appreciate the most. And I believe S2 Hollow is a bit riskier for what I'm looking for, because it's a legendary that's twice as many as the S1 hollows. It's doesn't have that uniqueness of being the first of the S1s. And so 18,000 to complete it.
So here's the,
yeah, okay.
So again, shout out to Neil, just doing some quick work behind the scenes to pull this together. So here's what we're looking at.
28, 30, 35 have 3. Okay, so 35 have 3. 11 have 2. I'm not going to include that 11. All right, so let's go with, I still think you're going to have some late people. And so maybe it's low 40s, maybe mid 40s. And if we say that, okay, the post-challenge value of those are going to drop by a half. We've seen others, the Steph one, it dropped to 30% of what it was. But you're looking then at losing, for your 9 moments that are necessary, you're losing, if it's 18,000, you're saying it's going to drop down to 30 to 50%. You're dropping down to like 6,000 to 9,000. So you're losing 9,000 to 12,000. So that trade needs to be worth 9,000 to 12,000. That's just a hard ask for me. And maybe long term, but like if you're talking about a trade that's there's only 45 out there. The benefit is, though, if there's 45.
It's that upside of pulling the low mint, right? Once you get to that few people, you start to get a lot better odds of pulling a number 1 or the, I don't know, Trey's jersey off the top of my head, but I'm assuming it's in there. But either way,
he's 11. So you're looking at 1 or 11, which, hey, if there's the 45, you're looking at about a 5% chance of pulling that. And that's obviously like, that's where the value is going to come in here. If you don't get that, maybe 2, 3, whatever, like there's some additional, but overall, it's just very expensive for something that I'm not trying to invest a large amount of capital in with the S2 Hollow. But for the people that do, I get it, but it's just not for me.
Yeah. So I think it's for people like our friend Library here. We talked about the folks that have been crushing it. Totally get it from someone like that's perspective, right? When you have that massive portfolio and you're really looking to hunt down that upside of hitting the number one for Trey, hitting the mint for Trey. So shout out to Library for having most of the series, two hollows and finishing off the Trey. Nice.
I know Library is a good friend of Steve. And so good friend of Steve. I'm sure Library is a good guy too. If you're comfortable, Library, I'd love to hear what that ended up being for you to complete it. I'm seeing here, we're looking at 19.4. I think beforehand, you probably could have got in for around like a 17, 18. Library being sharp, maybe found some values along the way. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Or Library, if you want to say what you think, my question is, and I'll ask this for all the entire chat, what would you think, and based off any kind of thinking you've done, analysis, how much are these hollows going to drop post-challenge? Because right now we're seeing the base of these challenges prices being, I think, around 1,400 for the ones in the challenge. And so I'm curious what people think kind of that after will end up being.
Okay, and looks like Library also didn't just take a lowest ask approach. He was going for good mints, going for number ones and jersey matches. So I'm sure that is going to be a very, very valuable long-term collection there. And again, that for someone in that situation, that strategy makes complete sense to me and really brings a lot of upside to the table.
Yeah. And Library, you don't need if you were buying those and you weren't just going to complete it, makes complete sense. No need to include your cost or anything there.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that info though. Appreciate it.
That 19.4 is obviously a close enough ballpark for what it would cost to complete it.
This is interesting. Neil says that the cost to complete midday yesterday was 18.2 and it's since come to 19.4. So that's interesting little tidbit.
I think the entire market's gone up a little over the past 48 hours. And I think a lot of that kind of was tipped off by that successful night of the 3 common releases. I think when you had those pack releases with 3 successful ones, it gave short-term confidence in the market for the people who were into it. And I think it also should have increased our long-term confidence on the site that, hey, they've shown an ability to run these successfully with minimal issues for that one.
Yep, definitely. Shout out to Muhammad. Was able to complete the set for 14K. Decent ROI short term, but plans on holding it out for a bit. Nice. That to me seems like a pretty nice price to get that set at. So good. Yeah. And that's why, there's no, like, we'll continue to talk through a bunch of the different perspectives here, but I think it just goes to show that there's not always there's only one right way to do it and the other way is wrong, right? It's all about individuals' situations. It's all about, are you able to find values? And if you feel that you're finding values that stand alone as a value, but then also combine to help complete the set and complete the challenge, like that's great. So well done by Muhammad. Shout out to him.
Yeah. And this is, to be honest, this is probably as good of a evaluation of the overall Top Shot market as you can get. Is when you just have a user with a large enough moments that you assume aren't heavily concentrated in one specific, investment thesis. You can get a general idea and say, like, hey, market did pretty well yesterday. And TJ and I, giving a peek behind the scenes, have been working on ways because we believe that, hey, like this really is a market. And so we're trying to find what's the best way to truly say, like, hey, when I wake up in the morning, how can I evaluate how the market's done? And something like, what Steve has with his intangible and your account valuation is obviously a decent way. But I think there's additional opportunities. There's also been a lot of talk in chat about some of the recent events. I love it. So we got the Yahoo Finance.
Yeah, I was just about to pull this up actually. Yep.
We got the Gary V tweet with the NFT. That obviously that got Wade's a little excited there after all the work that he's put in.
Wow, everyone's getting me hype right now in the chat. Let's go. This rocket ship is taking off on a Saturday. I'll tell you what. Yeah, we got awesome things, man. We got Roham talking on Yahoo Finance. We've got Gary V tweeting out NFT. I didn't watch the video yet, but I saw somebody tweet out a 30-minute video that Gary Vee was talking with, I forget who, with someone about NFTs and all of this digital collectible stuff. Obviously, Mark Cuban has been a massive supporter and has been very outspoken. Certainly a great guy to have on our side, just considering, his clout in general, but also even more importantly, the fact that he's involved in the NBA. We've got, Elon Musk pumping up all kinds of different crypto stuff. So we got Lindsay Lohan selling NFT pictures of herself. Lindsay Lohan is in that. That almost feels like the top. But hey, maybe Lindsay Lohan is sharper than we are giving her credit for, Justin.
Yeah, and I mean, there was an interesting tweet about a week ago where someone did an analysis of the NFT markets across all of kind of crypto and just kind of broke down like where there's majority value, kind of just showing the various curve. And I think the analysis was interesting. I really enjoyed their final kind of hypothesis conclusion or testing a hypothesis and giving conclusion and insight around the ones that had lasting power, the ones that had true like utility value. And I think utility value is a bit subjective, but in this space, I think that these truly have utility values from a collector standpoint. And I think physical sports cards have shown that. And without a doubt, like seeing Lindsay Lohan pump what she was talking about with her kind of one-of-one, NFT, that gives me just a bit of a chuckle, a bit of a cause of concern, but not for Top Shot, just NFTs in general. But even if we're at an NFT top right now, I think that's the top of a very small peak that you're then going to see the much larger one going forward. And I don't think Lindsay Lohan's impact has anything to do with Top Shot, but I think it's a bit more representative that NFTs are gaining mainstream.
Yeah, that's really what it is to me, is that it's becoming more and more of more and more people are at least hearing about it, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that they're believers yet or that they're opening up a Top Shot account just yet. But the more people that hear about it, the more that it starts to become in conversations with friends, coming up in group texts across the world, literally the world. I think that is when we're really going to start to see this next wave. And I know that one of the goals that we have here at OTM is just to help build the overall community, right? And how can all of us not only get together in our small communities and talk through how we're each approaching Top Shots, but how do we get our friends involved? How do we, build this out to be more and more? Because we've got 50,000 users on the platform and millions. Like you had a great tweet the other night, Justin. I don't know if you remember the numbers off the top of your head, but it was basically comparing what was it? It was comparing the number of active users on Top Shot relative to something that you saw on Facebook, and just highlighting the massive opportunity that we have on our hands here.
Yeah, and so in general, we can start at the very top. We have a $200 billion collectibles market. Within that, the sports collectible market is around $5.4 billion. That's huge. So I think that's kind of hey, here's when we do a sizing. We think about, okay, what's the actual opportunity? We then take a look at Top Shot and we say, okay, there's now been, I think it's, as of a couple of days ago, it was 16. Now I think it's around $71 million in sales revenue. You're talking at almost $1 million in sales, 20-some thousand unique buyers. The data that I was then saying is just on Facebook, there's been 1.5 million people who clicked on that button, showed interest in sports memorabilia on Facebook. If we only have 25,000 unique buyers now, that's a 5,700% potential increase if you're just including the randoms who said, I'm really interested in sports memorabilia on Facebook. The possibilities for this, and that's not including specific NBA fans or whatever, like we're just skyrocketing, just like that. That's why we're pounding them back today. Like, because we know this is the bright future. So it is an exciting time. And let's see what we've got. So yeah, that cheers was for you, Harry. Really appreciate it. We got a little more time. Let's hear chat. What else are we interested in? What are the questions? How can we kind of help you all out? Hi, let's go through. I'm seeing we've got questions around so for the Discord. So Leon If you scroll up or restart the video, I believe producer Coop has actually put that Discord link in. And definitely check out the video because I gave a disclaimer that unfortunately we're not able to get everyone in at the beginning. There will be a wait list, but please definitely let us know and we can get you in at least that wave 2 or 3. We've definitely talked a lot about the Cool Cats, the Master Challenge, Ismail. So watch some even earlier in this video, kind of spoke about the difference. How do we evaluate the current Lamelo rookie versus that future one? And so a lot of stuff there. TJ, I think he's back from getting his little Chipotle burrito. So yeah, there you go. I'm definitely not the great host on this show, so I'm going to kick that back to you.
Yeah, sorry about that. I had to step out for just a moment. Like Justin was just saying, we will be opening up our new Discord. I can pop the link into the chat again in just a second. But a lot of this, the analysis that you're seeing on the stream today, you saw us pulling up some quick numbers that are being pulled behind the scenes. Our plan is to be able to feed all of that information more directly to folks in the Discord, bring everything that we've got going on to your attention, and just continue to build out all of the awesome stuff that we have going on here with this community. Really appreciate the support that we have gotten so far. And it's been a lot of fun, to be honest.
Agreed. And so we posted some Discord office hours notes on Twitter from one of our friends, actually from the DFS industry as well. And they mentioned that we believe the Cool Cats Challenge is going to be for number 2 is going to start kicking off this upcoming week, potentially Monday. So Skylar Hoke here asking for early thoughts on Cool Cats 2 floor prices. I might be out of the loop, and I maybe just haven't. Do we know who the challenge reward is going to be?
Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So let's see. We know that it's the 10,000. That's right. Yeah. I know. So we know that these 5 are going to have 10,000. So I think that's going to drive down the price substantially. AD is great, but AD is not the same as Luka. So that's going to drive it down. I think 125 is a bit. Well, we saw 250, 270 is what it finished at. This isn't great radio right now. I'll do some analysis, but my guess is that's not too far off. I think 100, I'd even say probably 100 is probably pretty fair. The issue is that we only have 25,000 active users, and so with 10,000 out there, and we'll see how they work with the pack drops, but I'm assuming they're going to do something similar to what we saw with the commons, where hey, everyone who's available on that night, so maybe people get multiple and stuff, but I think you're just going to see people I think 100 is probably a decent baseline or an estimate for what they're going to go with. Now, if you want to ask TJ if he wants to make a bet around this, we can figure that out. But
Hey, come on. Don't take advantage of the fish in front of everyone. That's not polite manners. No, I'm going to get you back this time. We're going to maybe I'm going to hire my own personal analyst to do what you do, and then see if I can beat you in that way.
Hey, Daniel Negreanu hired an entire team, and that didn't work out.
Hey, wow.
Just make sure you get a better team than he had.
Oh, that's a great comparison. I appreciate that. Doug Polk has been on every podcast in the world lately. I don't know if the folks on this stream care about that, but I feel like just any podcast that I follow, Doug Polk has been on it. So when are we getting Doug Polk on OTM, Justin?
I was gonna ask. Yeah, I was gonna ask him on, but then I felt that we would just be getting sloppy 70 seconds. But
now might be the time. If you're ever gonna get Doug Polk on a podcast, this would be the one. You got to shoot your shot, right?
So Waz just gave an interesting one. Waz, I'm actually thinking about.
Come on, Waz. You were on my side.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. Waz actually, hey, Waz, I'm going to give you credit, but I'm also going to give you shit here. Waz actually agreed with TJ's side on Twitter and said, I don't like to disagree with Justin, but I'm agreeing with TJ with regard to 3,000. So that it walked into that one, Waz. But what I'm actually considering doing is have people heard about one red paperclip, and it's a story where someone took a red paperclip, traded it 14 times to eventually get a house or something extremely large. I think it would be a very interesting bit where we start with, obviously, it's got to be one of the ones that TJ gave me, so Embiid. Also, 76ers, where TJ's from, so just rub it in that face. And when we have a guest, have a nice conversation and maybe see if we can get a trade to happen. Because I think in general, it'll help us better understand that guest and how they evaluate different moments. And also, it allows me, I can talk about, do a little pitch of why I think Embiid is actually a great value for the first one. We got he's now number, I think second in odds for the MVP, budding superstar, blah, blah, blah. But I think this is something that could be a fun bit that we continue when we have guests and see if we can, as a collective OTM group, trade up this Embiid for something. And whatever we get to at the very end, I think we'll have a little fun with. Whether or not we turn it into a raffle, whether or not we turn it into something with this, we'll figure out. But there's something fun we can do with as a collective OTM, see how we can trade our way up from a common Series 2 Embiid all the way up to maybe our goal should be a cosmic.
I have played in many fantasy football leagues with Justin, and he knows how to make a trade. I can tell you that much. So I could see that being a fun exercise for you as you try to make those exchanges and work your way up the rankings. We've got a couple questions / I think this is an interesting one, and it may be a little more difficult, but I think this is something that we don't often talk about. So from Sam L, first off, congrats. Nice pull on the number 1 DeAndre Jordan Deck the Hoops or nice purchase previously. But we don't, and I saw another question where someone was asking, generally, how are we valuing serial numbers? So I think these two fit in pretty nicely together, just in terms of how are we thinking about serial numbers in general first, and then more specifically, how would we value something like the number 1 DeAndre Jordan from the Deck the Hoop series?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I've had trouble actually valuing these legendary, non-cosmic, non-hollow sets. Just kind of from a Series 1 standpoint of figuring out how the market is valuing them. Obviously, it seems like it falls somewhere between rare and the kind of hollow, but it's a wide range. From a process-wise, so I started off, I pulled up that dunk. I'm seeing that the number 3 sold for $33.33 on January 27th. January 27th was a bit after the initial boom, maybe in the middle of it. I think if you were trying to sell number 3 today, you'd expect to get significantly more than that $33.33. We do know ones, though, hold such a significant value. So from a process-wise, I'd probably take a look and just see what number 1s have also sold of legendary, and you just got to take a grain of salt because we can't compare it to the cosmic. We saw a Kawhi number 1 hollow sell for $41,500 either yesterday or the day before. DeAndre Jordan is not Kawhi. Deck the Hoops is a series, and this is a Series 2. It looks like this is not the same thing. I'm gonna throw a number out, and so I think that 3333 number 3 would probably go for around 4,500 or so today. And if I'm going to compare a number 1 to a number 3, I think it's probably about 2x. So I think it wouldn't be unrealistic to try to get something around 9,000 for that number 1. And I'm looking to see if you have it in the marketplace right now. You have it at 37,500. So you're not happy with the number I just gave you. But I mean, I think that's the challenge, especially when we're talking. There is just very, very little liquidity for these legendaries. And especially when we're talking legendary in Series 2, it's a bit more challenging. So I'm sure you definitely want to get more than that. I think if I would say I would be comfortable probably going up to something around that 8 to 9 range, and we'll see. Maybe it's also one of those where I would honestly, if I was you, hold it for if you don't need that cash, if you don't need liquidity to kind of go elsewhere, that's something that maybe you just hold on for the long term.
Yeah, I think I could see that going either way. I could definitely see holding on to that long term. But I also think, I don't know, like if you sell it for $9,000, I don't think you're going to be like mad. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
So I think it's really fantastic to have a number one without a doubt. When it's someone like there we go, doesn't need the cash, we're going to hold. I think that's a great play. I think that's a great play. I think if maybe you were just getting started and you somehow pull that one, then the move is try to sell it for that 8-9 grand just to build up a bankroll to goal. But if you already have your portfolio, if you already have some liquidity, I think that all the number ones will just continue to increase in value over time, regardless of who the player is or what the moment is. I think that's something about those number ones is really special, especially once you get, big time collectors starting to come into this space. I feel like those are the kinds of things that they really value in terms of the serial numbers. And my general personal approach to the serial numbers, I've been taking more of a volume strategy just with myself, oftentimes targeting either the lowest ask or something around the lowest ask that's maybe a little bit higher in the mint. I know that we've talked about our just kind of by feel perception of once you get, under 10, there's significant value. Under 100 or 100 and under has some value. 1,000 and under for some of the larger ones. But we haven't done any analysis to necessarily back up that qualitative opinion, just because I think when you are searching the marketplace, those kind of jump out as natural inflection points. But maybe sometime in the future, that could be something that we look a little bit deeper into and try to get an understanding of, for more of the base set type moments, right? How much of an impact does the serial really have? Because on the other hand, I did see a lot of the not even really, really high mint Lamelos, but during this Lamelo wave, we've seen like some, 400-ish Lamelos going for $2,000, twice as much as the asking price. So.
And so in general, agree with Teach. And so let me just try to take it further. So I kind of think of it in tiers. So number one in Jersey is a tier of its own. Like it's just, it's other world. Outside of that, I think of how many digits does it have? So is it a number, 1 to 9, 2 to 9? Okay. Then when you start at 10 to 99, that's another. Obviously, there's a little level of like the teens are a little better than your 80s and stuff. But like that's where I've seen like people are looking at a cutoffs of how many numbers are in there. When I then see, okay, in your 100 to 999, that's probably the next tier. For the larger, counts of a 7,500, 15,000, what I've seen, and this is just from an intuitive standpoint of just what I've looked through, but we definitely need to do a larger analysis on that we can. But if it's in that 101 to 999 of these large commons, you're seeing anywhere between like a 30 and 50% increase or premium on the price. And so that 30 to 50%, I mean, you've got to decide what is worth it for you. A lot of people have beliefs that just over the long term, the numbers just won't matter that much outside of the, really, I want to say tails, but really it's just that front end, the best tail. So we'll see how it goes. I personally am just trying to, when I'm buying a moment, for the most part, seeing is there just a great value where I'm only paying something like a 5 to 10% to get up there, or I most likely just want to get the cheapest. Because when I'm then trying to liquidate later on, majority of customers are just trying to buy the cheapest. They're the ones who are just seeing like, hey, what's the cheapest available? I want this moment. I'm buying it, and I go. And so I don't really want to be the person that's holding and saying, okay, well, I paid X% premium here, and so I'm going to hold it above the market for this long and hope that someone is looking to also try to find a value, when it's just so much easier to liquidate by putting it at the lowest price. And so I want to get in at that. I want to get out at that.
Yeah, definitely the easiest way to move in and out of the market, the easiest way to have that liquidity and that ability to sell whenever you need to is by just playing the lowest price game. And I think it's also the best way to kind of get started and get an understanding, in my opinion. I think it's a little bit more complex. And like you said, you deal with a much smaller sample size, much fewer opportunity in terms of dealing with some of the higher serial numbers. All righty, we've been live for an hour and 10 minutes now. I think we'll probably call it pretty soon, but I don't know, Justin, if there's anything that you're seeing in the chat that you want to talk about or anything else that you wanted to bring up. Otherwise, we can look to close things out in a bit.
let's let people get back to their families. We can give a quick tease about what we have upcoming. I believe Tuesday night we have a show.
You know what? I believe we do. Do we
Is
have a
there
guest?
He's a young one. He's going to make us look old.
Some may call him the new kid on the blockchain.
But we are bringing on good friend Jack from, Snapback Sports, from basically Snapchat, from basically every kind of digital media that I don't know anything about. Somehow has decided that he is the only person who filmed the blue Gatorade at the most recent Super Bowl. He holds one of the most valuable LeBron moments out there. He is on a mission to sell that moment for $1 million to LeBron himself. Excited to bring him on. So that'll be a fun show, and that'll kind of just be a bit more of a tossing back and forth. Going to put out a game on Sunday or Monday for everyone to kind of get involved with on Twitter, so keep an eye out. But I'm excited.
Yeah, it should be a fun one. That's going to be Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. We will be coming out with a tweet advertising that in the next day or two. Like we said, we'll also be having our Discord kickoff party tomorrow evening, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. For those of you that are able to get away from Valentine's Day or do not have any Valentine's Day plans, apologies to those that do, but we really just wanted to get this up and running. Had a lot of people that were reaching out, asking when we're going to get the Discord going. So we thought that it was best to just get it up and moving. And then if you aren't able to make it, absolutely no worries. We will catch up with you shortly after that. So thanks everyone for spending some time with us on this Saturday afternoon. Hope that everyone has a great night and a great rest of your weekend. We will talk again in a bit. So with that said, on behalf of Mr. Justin Herzig, on behalf of producer Coop behind the scenes, I am TJ Lasig, and we will catch you guys next time.